What's up, YouTube? Coming at you today with a helpful tip that I hope helps you out. The other day I was riding and I did experience a flat tire. As we all know, it's probably one of the worst things that can happen. Now you have to stop the ride after you were all jazzed up to go. But either way, when I got home I pulled the tube, noticed that there were 3 thorns inside of the tire. So I pulled them out of the tire itself, and I'll show you the procedure on how to do that really quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some pipe foam insulation that I got at the Home Depot. I'm going to insert that into the tire. Then I'm going to put the tube inside of the pipe insulation, and then lastly fill the tube with the stand sealant. So let's get started, and I hope you like this episode. I'll show you how to pop off the tire if you don't know how. The easiest way is to take a tire lever and you're going to get it underneath the tire itself and start to just work off the tire. Some tires are a lot easier than others. Once you take off the tire, you're able to pull out the tube. When you pull this tube out, and if you found that there was, say, a thorn here, it's easy to locate that hole inside the tube. So if you're going to patch it up, it's just easy to get to that hole in the tube by just keeping everything in line. You don't have to necessarily line this up with the valve stem, but it is easy to find the valve stem. Not that it's that hard, but it just makes it a lot quicker. No matter where you had it, if you took this tube out in the relation to the tire and kept it situated, you'd be able to find where the foreign object was in the tire to your tube. Just a little tip. So the next step would be to take this tube and inflate it. And sometimes you will definitely hear the little hissing sound, and sometimes you won't. So you can get a little soap and water in a spray bottle if you like, spray it down, let it bubble up, and then locate the hole, and then repair it if you want to. I'm not going to be repairing this tube because I know that it does have 3 little holes in it. And what I want to show you is that you can't you can't remove this valve stem, which I wanted to insert the stands into this, and I can't. So I'm going to show you now that you can't remove this one. So you have your valve stem removal tool, and you have your valve stem. So you're going to place this over the valve stem, and you can't. It doesn't allow you to place this over and spin out that valve core. So this is all one sealed unit here. The next step is to take your hand, the back of your hand, and you're going to run it along the inside of the tire, and you're going to inspect the tire for any foreign objects. So I take the back side of my hand and I'm going to slowly run it through the inside of the tire, and I'm going to go completely around. I start at the Maxxis logo and I continue around until I make a complete circle. The reason I tell you to go slow is because if something is in there, it's going to cut you if you go too fast. So this tire is clear of any foreign debris. I did run my hand through and found a thorn, and I had to use tweezers. I pulled it out, and now that I don't have anything inside the tire, it's safe to put a new tube in if you weren't going to use the foam inserts. But we are, so that's the next step. So I know that you can purchase the tire inserts online. 1, I didn't want to wait for them. 2, a lot of them are out of stock because given the pandemic, a lot of bike stuff is out of stock. So what I did was I went to Home Depot, went into the plumbing aisle, and I got this foam pipe insulation. This is 1-inch pipe insulation, and it is already pre-split. So with this being split, you put your finger in it. Now you can open it up. So this will be inside of the tire. We're going to place the tube inside of this, then inflate it, inject the stands, and that's it, we're done. So stick around and I'll walk you through the rest of the steps. Now this is a 2.8 tire, and this insert is a 1-inch foam pipe insulation. Slice this around with your hand because it's already pre-cut. Cut yourself a nice piece. Always go bigger, you could always trim it down. And that fits pretty good. You're going to insert the valve stem into the rim. And then you're going to work the tube inside of the foam. Try and keep it straight to avoid the tube from twisting up inside of the foam. And now we're going to work the tire and the tube and the foam insert all back onto the rim. Once you have the tire and the tube and the insert back on, make sure that it's properly seated around the entire tire. That line is even all the way around on both sides. So look, that was not seated. The next step is to fill the tube with air. Then finally, we're going to inject the stands sealant inside of the tube, refill it with air, and that should be it. When you pump this up, just be sure that the tire is seated onto the rim, that it's not coming off. You don't want to blow a tube. We're going to remove the valve core. We're going to be using Stan's tire sealant. Shake it up pretty good. it has particles inside of it that need to flow with inside of the tube. So if you do get that puncture, it will seal it up. I'm going to be using just the open applicator, not the screw-on type. And I have this container already marked to 4 ounces. Place this on the injector. Pulling up the sealant out of the container. I tip it to one side just to keep the air from getting inside of the injector. The tire and tube at the 9 o'clock position. Placing this in. The ejector inside of the valve. And the reason for this is that once I inject this, gravity is going to take this down to the bottom so it doesn't overfill and spill out. If I had it down at the 6 o'clock position and I filled it, it gives it a chance to just come right back out. And that I don't want to do, so. I'm going to pick up the remaining sealant that's inside of this. We're going to replace the valve stem. Now that the valve stem is replaced, I'm just going to fill this tire with air, and that's it. It's all set. I hope you guys liked this episode. If you do, please like and subscribe to the channel, and always stay safe.